attention that we have not put the right thing on. It has come to my attention that we do have a lot of new listeners. You know, it's interesting. No, new person, never seen the show, never seen or listened to a podcast before, comes into the shows like, why does Blake keep saying pause all the time? And I have to say, well, that's fair because they don't know because they're not in the show every single night like a lot of you are. And I just want to clear the air here. When I say pause, I'm not trying to cut clips, as some of you suggested, nor am I taking I think as somebody said, I'm not trying to pass wind, I think is what was said, break wind. No, that's not what's happening here. It's when a sexual innuendo is made and you don't want people to take you the wrong way that you say, hold on, pause, not trying to say anything sexual here. You are probably right. It probably needs to come to an end. And tonight, I have some bad news. I don't think it's coming to an end. I think we still have to make that's what she said jokes. It's my personality. We will do it. But you are right. The pause-worthy comments need to be a little bit clarified. They need to be clarified like what would have happened if LeBron James put his hands on Stephen A. Smith. In case you've missed it, Stephen A. Smith went on his show today or a podcast, whatever, and said that, well, if LeBron would have put his hands on me, I would have thrown them hands. Dog, no, you would not have. And even if Stephen A. Smith would have thrown hands against LeBron, we've seen your boxing video of you throwing hands. Look like you're trying to crank a damn push lawnmower. Brother, you can't throw a punch. Then you used to go over to the UFC and tell Joe Rogan he's wrong about MMA. Buddy, stop. LeBron James, even though he's got a receding hairline too, is just not getting beat up by a dude that looks like you who legitimately has that kind of pushback. It ain't happening. I do feel as if, though, if it's just me, I do feel like that the Stephen A. and LeBron beef is manufactured. I think it's manufactured because you have a sport that is drowning in ratings. Guys, college women's basketball is getting more views than NBA basketball right now. March Madness averaged 16 million viewers per night. Per night. That kills the NBA Finals ratings. Destroys it. The reason it destroys it is because the game's not as good as it used to be. Fouls are all over the place. And quite frankly, you've been too political. You've been way too political. That's why numbers went down for Major League Baseball when they were doing political stuff. Guys, numbers drastically went down for baseball. Now they drastically went up when you got into the playoffs, as they normally do. But basketball, for the current numbers, is not anywhere near football, baseball. It just isn't. Not from a national perspective. But back to the original thought. Stephen A., my man. I actually like Stephen A. a lot. I think that he does bring up when you can get past some of the arguing and he's actually talking about and has a take. A lot of times Stephen A. is not bad necessarily. Like, I'll give an example. He thought, like, for the Super Bowl, I was listening to him for the Super Bowl. He was talking about how he thought the play action pass would be a big deal for Philadelphia, and it was. And Jalen Hurts fed off of it. I don't think he's bad. I think he has some interesting thoughts, but my man, the worst take or the worst thing that Stephen A. Smith has said in his illustrious $100 million contract signing career has been that he thinks that he would have thrown hands against LeBron. Now, here's the truth. LeBron never got violent with you. And let's not act like LeBron has called out people in the past. But, dog, ain't nobody in this chat, or nobody, Stephen A. included, that's going to be able to fight LeBron and actually win. All right. Michael Morris and Veronica, I think, like the crank lawnmower. Go watch the Stephen A. Smith boxing video. He does look like he is legitimately trying to crank a push lawnmower. He's doing a left uppercut. It's the worst punch I've ever seen thrown in my entire life. Blank Face says the coverage sucks and the narratives have ruined players' value. Very much true. I don't want to continue to have the same conversations about is LeBron better or Jordan better. I do think, guys, literally, this is my opinion. My opinion is that podcasts and shows like this one or our national show that's doing fantastic. Guys, we talk more about sports and actually break the things down of why you come in here and you talk about it. You may hate my guts. You may love me. You may not even have even the slightest of emotion towards me on anything. But one thing that you know to be true is that we're going to come in here and talk sports mostly. We may disagree. A lot of you disagree with me. A lot of you disagree. And it's okay. But at least we're disagreeing about sports. And I think that's where the NBA has gone massively wrong. Massively wrong. Todd Davis says Stephen A. has recently been talking about politics. I've seen that. I saw him on Bill Maher. It's crazy. Penn Jones says we need to start off with an update on Ben's baseball season. That's a great way to start off. So, Penn, T-ball is here. Coach Blake is out there on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which we will be able to be ready. We'll be out of practice by the time the game starts on tomorrow, which we will be doing a post game. Ben's doing great. Was not a fan of first base this year. Needs to pay attention a little bit better. Is hitting very well. Is hitting very, very, very well. Yesterday had a play at third base. Ground ball to him. He makes a really good play. Takes a crow hop, literally. I say a crow hop. A 5-year-old crow hop. Makes a throw to first. The ball's dropped at first base. He is not joking when he says that he loves Tommy Tanks. And his newfound favorite player. And that being Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz is his favorite baseball player along with Dylan. But Tommy Tanks takes it. Needs to get better in the field. Is hitting bombs right now. He hit a 2 RB. We put him in. So, Penn, very quickly. Y'all aren't here to listen to this, but I'm just going to tell you anyway. We put the kids yesterday in just like a game type scenario situation. Like, hey, you have a runner on this base and runner on this base. If you get a ground ball, try to tag the runner out that's running from second, or try to tag the runner out from anyway. Just doing situational stuff with them, trying to field them, let them field some ground balls. Well, we let the other kids hit. Ben hit a screamer in the right center field over the second baseman's head, splits the gap and gets a double. And then he's on the base doing this. What have I created? I don't know. Tonight, we're going to be talking about LSU and Mississippi State. We're going to preview Mississippi State and LSU here tonight. We will be live for the postgame for that one tomorrow. There's some things that I want to see from LSU football. You look, there's only a couple more days left. We'll talk about some of these days, some things that I want to see before we get out of spring football here, before we get to the game and things like that. LSU had their pro day today. Some guys that stood out. We'll talk about that as well. If we have thoughts, questions, concerns, we'll get to that in just a moment. Todd says, does any NBA player not have a tattoo? I have 2 of them. Don't know if y'all knew that. I have 2 of them. But I don't know. I don't think so. You just don't see the baseball player guys' tattoos. They all got them. A lot of them got them too. Football too. All right, let's get moving here. Do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to social media pages. Watch us, listening on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, and wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Every episode is brought to you by our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Media. If you need the right leads with smart systems and real growth, go to servicehawk.com/IO. Guys, there's going to be a little comment box there. If you need referrals, you need to get over to ServiceHawk. If you run a business, you own a business, you're in sales, you need your digital footprint to be bigger, go over to ServiceHawk Digital Media today, where they soar above the competition. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll break down Mississippi State LSU next, talk about the pro day and things we want to see out of spring football. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events, with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Okay. By the way, I don't know if all of you observed this today. We've had some really rainy days over the last couple of weeks. Today's weather felt great. 85 degrees today, 61 was the low. It felt fantastic. Felt like a really good spring day. All I'm saying when I bring that up is when that weather starts hitting above 80 degrees in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, when it comes to baseball, ball starts flying, and it did last night. Let's get into some baseball here. So LSU will start their series against Mississippi State tomorrow, and I want to preview that series with you. LSU, clearly, and as all of you know, is coming off a series loss to Texas where they lost on Saturday and on Sunday. Both games relatively close. Both games that they could have had and had situations on Saturday and Sunday where if they performed better, that they could have taken the series on the road in Austin. When I look at this Mississippi State lineup and I look at them, they are 1-5 in the league. Their record does not indicate for me how good of a team they can be. Like, I look as an example of the guys that they have that are hitting. Like, I look at Ace Reese, who's been hurt. He's still hitting .302, but he's got 8 bombs on the year, 34 RBIs. Guys, their best hitter is hurt. And he's still been able to crank out 3 RBIs. Now, the big third baseman and Ace Reese is dangerous. He can swing it. I don't know if he gets DH. I don't know if he, I guess we'll see what happens when the injury report comes out, what's going on with his status. You would feel really good if he doesn't go, but I do think he will be there and he'll be ready to go. This lineup can hit, man. Now, it's not like they have a lot of bats in there that will – you don't have a lot of Bear Joneses in there where there's just so much power that you got to be careful everywhere you go. They're not like Texas was. 2 through 6 can really hurt you with power, but they do have it. They have 2 guys with over 7 home runs. Aaron Downs is another guy hitting .327 with 7 home runs and 18 RBIs. Well, Blake, that's a lot of home runs with not a lot of production RBIs wise. Well, they have been bad in other parts of their lineup. I would say 6, 7, 8, 9 have not really produced for them. They've really struggled there. They struggled in the preseason. They struggle now. The top half of that lineup, you mess around tomorrow and find out. Mess around tomorrow and find out and see what happens. Now, I don't think that Cade Anderson, who is going to get the start tomorrow, will do that. They got some really good talent. I don't know if I agree with Jay Johnson, who today in his press conference said they're Omaha super regional bound team, or could be. They're that talented. I don't know if I agree with that. But what I do know is Mississippi State's taken 2 of the last 3 from you in a series. They took 1 from you when you won a national championship. Now, you would return the favor to them the season after that. No. You've lost the last 2. You opened up the season last year with them, and you lost on the road. Thatcher Hurd got really touched on Sunday. So did Christian Little. They beat you the year you won a national championship. I think maybe the first year for Jay was the first time that they beat Mississippi State. But 2 of the last 3, you lost, and you did lose the last 2. They certainly can beat you. Now, I do feel a lot more comfortable that you're at home. I know that this weekend series is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Good on it. You got some stuff here. But man, their ace is going on Saturday in Pico Khan. And the big left-handed pitcher can really hurt you. Like, I look at the series as a whole. I see their lineup. I see that, look, man, in the front half of that, they can really hurt you in a lot of different ways. They take a lot of pitches. Guys, the walks that this team has is above SEC norm for other teams that are around the conference. They will take a lot of pitches. But if you make a mistake, they will really, really hurt you. Very much, they will hurt you. And I look at this team and say to myself, and I look at this series and say to myself, with both of those being combined, your ace is going on Thursday. You better take Thursday. You better take Thursday. Because you get into a Saturday situation again, and you have the start from Ianson, who will start on Saturday per Jay Johnson and per the release of the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday starters. It's not going to change in that rotation. You're going up with Anthony Ianson versus Pico, who is one of the better pitchers in the SEC. You better buckle down. You better get ready, and you better be locked in and focused. And you better not walk people, and you better be locked and loaded on Friday night. Because God forbid, you get into a situation where Anthony is having and been in a situation like he's been in his last 3 Power 4 starts. And you got to start rolling that bullpen out there. You're in trouble. You are 1,000% in trouble. You can't let what happened last weekend replicate itself and do it again. So what does that entail? Guys, on Thursday night, you have to take it to Mississippi State's ass. To their ass. You got to score early. You got to score often. You got to do everything you can to get as many runs as you can early to get them in that bullpen and to get some arms moving. Thursday is a pinnacle day, and of course, every game one is. But if they got to go to the bullpen early and you start hopping on them early, and they don't have anybody after Pico that can really go from there, and they have a lot of guys coming out of their pen, which we'll talk about in just a moment, man, you can set yourself up very easily to win this series. Now, here's what scares me about Mississippi State coming in here with Chris Lemonis, their head coach. Y'all been seeing Mississippi State fans? This is as high pressure to situation for Chris Lemonis as any coach in the SEC is a head coach. Brother, they better win in Baton Rouge this weekend, which brings me to this. If you listen to anything that we talk about with football, I'm going to bring in a football analogy that we use a lot to this weekend series. You better not. Well, let me back up. You better always be cautious of a pit bull in a corner. Pun intended on the dog here. But in this scenario, you better be very cautious of the bulldog in the corner who feels like their life's in danger. And I feel like that in reference to Chris Lemonis' job. How does that roster respond to their head coach taking some criticism? Do they come out here wanting to prove a point against you, who's one of, if not the pinnacle of college baseball? They would want to come in. They want to come in here and make a statement. They're beat up. They've had some injuries. But, guys, it's not great now. And Mississippi State's not like the football situation. They pride themselves on being really good in baseball. I don't know if Chris Lemonis is the guy that should and could be leading them. They have the resources there. They invest into it, and they're not getting what they deserve at Mississippi State under Chris Lemonis after him winning a national title. They just haven't. But one thing is for sure, I feel like I have a dog in a corner, and if you're playing around with them, they're going to take it from you. Thursday night, I think, is your best opportunity to win because of the situation that's on the mound. It is an interesting strategy of what we have going on here because Jay's throwing his guy on Thursday night, his ace, and on Friday night, Mississippi State's going with theirs. Pico is he is electric. Very electric. He is very deceptive and funky in his release that, man, it is tough to hit off of him. Guys, him and Cade Anderson, think about this. Him and Cade Anderson, he has better production than what you've gotten from Cade Anderson. And I don't know how much better. He's up there with Liam Doyle. He's up there with some of these elite pitchers in the SEC right now. He is one of them. Can you take it to him will be a question that we're going to have to see if we can answer here. You already saw a really good lefty, 2 really good lefties, 3 really good lefties, if we're being honest, against Texas. You've got the reps against it. And you saw Cade Anderson all off season. But Thursday night, you got to take one. And on Saturday and Sunday is where I think we need to spend our focus. Because I think that and look, God forbid you lose on Thursday. Listen, I'm worried like a whore in Catholic church, and she's trying to touch the holy water, and she got burned. And it ain't the chlamydia that's burning her. But listen now, I would be nervous if you can't take game 1 on how this weekend's going to go. Because Friday scares the bejesus out of me. We talked about Anthony Ianson on Monday. We talked about Chase Shores on Monday. Guys, you're not getting enough production from your starters. Guys, I know that Anthony's been fine. He's been okay. He's been good. He throws a lot of strikes. If he can find the strike zone a little bit better on some of his off-speed stuff, I think he'd be fine. But the bottom line is your Saturday and Sunday guys have an ERA above 8. In the P5 teams, P4 teams that they've seen. You go out there and they start hitting you and you start walking guys on a Saturday and they have a big lefty on the mound that's shutting you down. Buddy, it's a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for disaster. Now, there's only been twice this season that we've seen LSU offensively kind of been, I don't even want to say shut down, but slowed down. That game 2 against Omaha and then Sunday against Texas. And I don't know if, in the game against Omaha, you had 8 innings like that because the 9th inning you exploded. You still scored 5 runs. And in totality, okay, I see a game and situation like Texas, you scored 2 runs, but you had a lot of chances where you could add a lot of production that you just did not capitalize on. Saturday and Sunday will be big for them. Here's where I go to it from a Mississippi State perspective. I go to it from a Mississippi State perspective because, guys, they're going to throw a lot of arms. There's no arm better coming out of the pen, in my humble opinion, than Mekhi Grant, who's only got 7 appearances on the year and 8 innings pitched. It's not a lot of innings. The problem with Grant is that he's coming off of Tommy John, and guys, in 8 innings pitched. In the SEC, he's got 16 Ks. Now, the walks are bad. In 8 innings, he's got 7 walks, so a little bit less than a walk an inning. So you got to be decisive on the pitch selection if Mekhi Grant ever comes, or when he comes in, if he comes in. Because they got some arms out of the pen and you're probably only going to see once through a time of the lineup. because Chase Hungate, Luke Dodson, 10 appearances, 8 appearances, 7 appearances, 7 appearances, 9 appearances. Guys, they are only going through this lineup one time, and they're throwing every arm that they have at you. By the way, I look at these ERAs, 2.02, 2.02 ERA, 3.08 ERA, 2.08 ERA. Mississippi State's been in 6 games in the SEC. I'm not saying against elite talent, but against the SEC. And guys, their bullpen has been moderately really good. That's why that Thursday game is so important, because I got to be frank with you right now and just being open and blunt. I don't have a lot of faith on you on Saturdays and Sundays. I don't. Not with this team right now. Where I have faith in them is that I think that they can hit their way into a win. What I don't have faith in is that you can come in with the ability to throw strikes, because you haven't shown against Missouri, who, by the way, Missouri, 0-6 in the league, but man, go back and look at that Ole Miss series that they had. They were taking Ole Miss to the wire every single night. You should know they pretty much did that to you. And the SEC is still the SEC. Guys, your Saturday and Sunday guys with an ERA over 8, unless you come out here and demolish a baseball, and you do it, you would have to do it on Friday too. You better hope that you can get some runs early, or he has an off night. Because Pico Khan has a 2.52 ERA. He's won all 4 starts that he has this year. In 35 2/3 innings, he's given up 18 hits. Guys, in 35 innings, 18 hits. He's only allowed in 35 innings 10 earned runs. That's exceptional. Oh, and by the way, he's one of the lean strikeout guys in the SEC, and he doesn't walk people. He is filthy. The funky, disgusting delivery that he has, I am worried about you on Friday night. Very worried. Now, I love the way that I saw LSU respond last night in the midweek. Spare your blatant midweek games, don't matter to me. It's all about how you respond. I've seen LSU teams in the past. I've seen teams in the country, around the country, that have been off on a weekend and respond in a midweek where they don't look great. Like I remember Tennessee early in the year last week. Guys, on Sunday, they were in a dogfight versus Florida. They turned right around, and they're not hitting well, and they're not doing well at the plate. They wind up beating Florida late because they got a big bomb late, but they had been struggling at the plate. You turn around, they lose to ETSU. Then they lose to Alabama. Like, we've seen these situations. But, man, I got to tell you, Tennessee responded. You responded. These great teams respond rapidly when something just doesn't go their way. And you got to do it this weekend. Now, on Sunday, I will be interested to see what happens. On Sunday, we could talk about it. I mean, it's a long way away until Sunday. There's a lot of baseball that's going to be had here. But they have a guy in Carson Ligon who is in 5 appearances or 5 starts. He's 2-3, 4.76 ERA, 22 2/3 innings pitched, 9 walks, 32 strikeouts. Guys, he's about the same amount of production as you would get out of Chase Shores. Saturday is up in the air because I think both of those dudes can and will be rocked. Can and will be rocked. So Sunday's up for air, and anybody can win it. Any situation happens, and we'll get to that as the week goes on. I will say this. I do think you're going to win the series. I do think you take 2-3. Friday, I do think with Khan on the mound and Pico doing what he does, I don't have a lot of let me say this. I have a lot of faith of you at the plate. I don't have any faith of you right now of what you're going to run out there to start, and then what you have coming out of the pen that can hold it down if you take a lead. Because this kid's going to throw up zeros. If he doesn't throw up zeros, either number one, you were just a really good team. You are a really good team. You locked in, you focused, and you got to him. It just hasn't happened often. And it'll be very interesting to see here. Final thing on this Mississippi State series for me, and I'll take a couple of comments here too. I do think that this is, I'm not going to say a potentially final weekend to see if this starting rotation can make things happen, but man, I feel like it's on thin ice. Jay's got to make a move here if it doesn't go good. Here's the nightmare scenario that I worry about. Cade Anderson has an off day on Thursday. He's going a day sooner than he normally would. And you got to go to the bullpen early for any reason, and you got to take game one. Unless Jay concedes it for whatever reason, because of whatever situation dictates it. Anderson's got to be big, and I don't know what you do, really, if you're Jay. Jay kind of made a comment today in his press conference about Cohen, about like, hey, man, we gave up 6 runs on Saturday, and we had to piece our bullpen together. He thought probably I need to leave Cohen in there because if I don't, they are going to come back and beat us. And then I wasted the start from Cade Anderson. Guys, if Mississippi State came here and took 2 or 3, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked. Do I think you're the better team? Yep. Do I think you're better at the plate? 100%. I do think that for what it's worth, I do feel that them on the mound all around holistically, they're better than you. You got to take it to them early. They're going to see a lot of pitches at the plate, and you better throw strikes because God forbid if you don't, guys, they are one of the best teams at getting pitchers deep in counts, fouling off pitches, and getting walks. Guys, they're 1 through 5, even 1 through 6. Like Cup, their 6-7 hole hitter, and he's been sometimes in the top of the lineup because he walks so much. Guys, he has 20 walks this season. 20. That is a lot. 20 walks. I mean, it's basically like Curiel in some instances. I'm telling you, man, it's a tricky matchup. I really do believe that. I know a lot of purple and gold glasses wearing, and I can be that way sometimes too. If I look at this from both sides, I could see where they can come in here and take a couple from you. Your bullpen doesn't perform on a Saturday, Sunday, and you can't lock some things down. My heavens. If I'm Jay, I'm being blunt. If Anthony does give up 3 or 4 and you are taking a lead, there is no way in God's forsaken name that I'm not running Case and Evans out there. None. I kind of hinted at it in the post games on Saturday, or I did on Saturday. I did not like the move not to go to Case and Evans because even if he gave you 3 2/3, he comes out in the 5th or the 4th, does Ianson. You shut him down like that, man. You cooking with gravy. But Cowan and Evans are going to be your guys. Interesting note I want to bring up there. Jay was asked today in his press conference going into the series, like, hey, some of these guys that are in the pen that are dominating so much, why don't you move them into a starting role? And Jay was very blunt. He's like, guys, we got to close out games. Like, as much as the start of the game is very important, having a guy like Cowan, having a guy like Evans that can come in and close it out like Griffin Herring a year ago. Guys, Griffin Herring could easily have started on Sundays for you, if not Saturdays for you. You could have had one of the best rotations in the entire country if he did. But Griffin Herring, imagine not having him a year ago to come in and lock these games down. It would have been atrocious. So I understand Jay's philosophy there. I do get it. I might not agree with it. I still think Cowan needs to be in there on Saturday, if I'm being blunt, and then move Einstein to Sunday. It's a tricky situation, man. Spectrum says that Yeski is going to call better pitches and would help if Yeski threw better or called better pitches. I agree. David says, sounds like you were predicting a Mississippi State series win. I am not. I'm picking LSU. I'm just saying you like for sure. Like if I had to pick, I say you win on Friday, you lose on Saturday, and you win on Sunday. That's what I would predict. Because I think just as much as it's open in the air for you on Sunday, so it is for Mississippi State. I don't think people realize how good Pico is. I don't. Guys, he's one of the best pitchers in the SEC. I mean, again, basically a 2 ERA and 35 innings pitched. He's struck out 53 and he's walked 7. That's like that is exactly pretty much, give or take, Cade Anderson. Guys, you're going up against Cade Anderson. From a numbers perspective, not a delivery perspective, a junk perspective, you're going up against Cade Anderson. So basically, if I would have told you, hey, guys, what you've been getting on Saturdays from Ianson in the bullpen is going up against Cade Anderson and what he could do. Scared money don't make no money. Anyway, Brandon says, crazy how A&M and Florida baseball have been struggling in conference play. It really is. It really is. No, I just got a text that said Con is starting on Saturday. Well, maybe Mississippi State released this wrong because it said game 2, which would be on Friday, because the games are Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Guys, am I getting that wrong? Is this not a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series? Maybe I might be wrong there. But no, the Mississippi State came out and said he's going on game 2. I thought that was a Friday. Maybe. I don't know. I need to check on that. I saw the series starts tomorrow. Yeah, I thought so too. Uno Moss says Florida can turn it around, but Texas A&M looks like toast. I have not seen every single pitch from A&M. I did see that they struck out guys, wasn't it? Y'all can correct me on this. Wasn't it 20 times they struck out on Friday night? Their game 1? 20 times? And they got swept again? Michael Early might be in trouble, man. They made an emotional hire there, in my opinion. It is what it is. All right, let me get to a quick break. Want to flip the script to some football stuff. LSU Pro Day was today. We'll talk a little bit on that. Then we'll talk about some things I want to see kind of ending and about to start wrapping up spring football here. So let me get to a quick break. When we return, we got lots to discuss. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
We're back.
I started off the show with this, but if you think that you're having a bad day, go check Stephen A. Smith's Twitter machine. My man is getting cooked. He really thinks he can beat up LeBron. He really, really believes that he could beat up, like he would swing on LeBron. He ain't doing that, y'all. He is not doing that. But you know who I think would? LeBron better be careful if he ever squares up with this dude. You know what I'm talking about? It's Josh Williams. Look at Josh Williams. I've said this before on this show. I'm going to say it again. Josh Williams did not have a legendary, necessarily stats-wise, legendary. He's not going to be on the wall of LSU running backs. When you think of the top running backs that ever came at LSU, he won't be like somebody that we mention. For me, I will always remember Josh Williams. Always. Always, always, always. Now, the reason I said that LeBron better be scared about Josh Williams, have yourself a day 18. If Brian Kelly had every player like Josh Williams that had the mentality of Josh Williams, they'd never lose a game. My man comes in and runs a 4.45 40. He's got a 42-inch vert. He looks like he was chiseled out of granite. He doesn't come there overweight. He is the ultimate professional. I pray to God that Caden Durham and what little maybe Caleb well, no, not even little. What Caleb Jackson could have gotten for him, I hope that they understand that work ethic and it gets through to them. But I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if Josh Williams gets drafted. I highly doubt that he gets drafted. Josh Williams will go to an NFL team. He's going to get picked up by somebody. And it would never surprise me to see a guy like that make a NFL roster because of special teams, because of just he does everything well and does everything right. Will never surprise me. I think of Russell Gage doing what he did. Russell Gage, guys, came out of nowhere. His first catch as an LSU Tiger, he was wearing number 39. See, some of you might not have remembered that. But Russell Gage, The biggest winner today for me was Josh Williams because he didn't get a combine offer. Nobody's talking about him in the draft. To be able to go in there and put up those numbers was 1,000% a big win for him. Massive win for Josh Williams. You not being able to run the football had nothing to do on Josh Williams last year. Absolutely nothing. Couple other keynotes coming out of Pro Day. Will Campbell didn't really do anything. Actually didn't do anything at all. He answered questions, said, what about my arm length? What's wrong with my arm length? Guys, they're gonna nitpick on everything. Will Campbell's no exception. It's very rare that you can't find it. Like Burrow, they didn't nitpick. Oh, well, no, even Burrow they did. Remember the small hands. How does that work for you? They're going to nitpick. He's a top 10 pick. Good on him. He didn't do anything. Kyron Lacey, who kind of had some off-the-field troubles, as you remember, was also at Pro Day today. He had a 33.5-inch vert. I don't think that was great. Not for a receiver. He ran an official 4.60 Not great. Now, I saw the videos out there where people said he ran a 4.6. He did, or 4.46. He was not in the 4.4s. He was at 4.6 official. I thought he had an okay day. You know, they had to start some drills over for him. I think maybe because of what has been happening with him in the offseason here, unfortunately, and then the draft process. Today, they had to start some drills back over for him. They had to restart some throws for him. You know, you saw Aaron Anderson and Chris Hilton actually get some work today from throws from Garrett Nussmeier, who Garrett had a big day. Garrett had a really big day in front of a lot of scouts. So did Aaron Anderson, and so did Chris Hilton. All three of them had massive days, but Garrett had a great day in front of scouts. Don't think Kyron had a good one. I mean, it was the only time that he could show these NFL teams what he had. 4.6 flat at 215 pounds is, I mean, it's okay. It's an okay number. It's not a great number. It's not a great number. Not when you had all those targets with the amount of production that came out. Mason Taylor had a good day. Official 4.5 for him, the big tight end. By the way, that makes Mason Taylor and Kyron Lacey about the same speed. He did have 28 reps on the bench press at 225. Guys, that's a lot for a tight end to give clarity. That's two less than I wanted to say Grant Delpit. It's not Grant Delpit. Your left guard, Garrett Dellinger. Garrett had 30, which that's great for him. It's a great number for him. Even in that number of 30, right? Even in that number. You have a tight end that's that physical with that bloodline, that amount of high-profile situations where he came down with the ball. Here's the crazy thing. Mason Taylor broke every tight end record for you in the books as an LSU Tiger. Will and is a legend. He broke every single record. The problem with Mason Taylor and him breaking every one of those records is that in that he still, in my opinion, wasn't utilized enough. You know, if it wasn't for MLB The Show right now, I might crank out to NCAA football and go do another dynasty with LSU. I've only done like 22 of them because I get pissed off and I'm like, I got to go take some anger out. I still think he was underutilized. Mason had a great day. He's a great human being, comes from a great family. He's going to be a great tight end. I don't know where he goes in the draft. You know, I have heard that the Saints like him a lot. He ain't going to the Saints. Would be great if he went to Miami, though. That'd be a great spot for him. I know that the legacy could continue here. Play for his dad's old team. That would be something there. I do think that for what it's worth, outside of Josh and outside of Mason, the guys that were not at the combine had the bigger days as you would expect. With that being said, from some people that I talked to today, the things that people walked out of there with today were Chris Hilton's got a elite speed. Garrett Nussmeier threw the ball damn well. Who in the hell? We knew Aaron Anderson had production, but who in the hell is number one is what I had. Those were the three top targets. I think mainly due to the fact that Mason Taylor, everybody knew about Mason Taylor, and I heard a lot about Josh Williams. And to be honest with you, Brian Kelly politicking, from what I understand, to some people that were out there like, hey, man, this kid's not going to get drafted, might not get drafted, but he's going to make your team. And you're going to be like, damn, Josh Williams is still here. He made the 53. And that might happen, or he'll get picked up by somebody at the end of camp. But Garrett had probably and arguably, because of the position, but just what he did at receiver. Guys, he was on one with – here's the great thing. They look great today with Chris Hilton and Aaron Anderson. It looked really bad with Kyron Lacey. Guys, they were starting over a lot of drills. I mean, I hate that for Kyron, but I don't know. Devin says, what did Josh run? A 4.45 official. Kyron ran a 4.6 official, flat. Which, guys, let's just be honest. Everybody runs faster at their pro day, which probably means in the combine that Kyron's probably running a 4.65 if he's lucky. If he's lucky. I'm telling you, I mean, I have a lot of friends in the scouting department. A lot. It's where my life revolves around, talking to those guys on a religious basis. My lovely wife can come in here and attest that literally all day it's just nothing but phone calls where I'm talking to scouts, maybe an agent here or there, whatever. Hey, what are you hearing? What do you think? What have you seen? What do you believe? It's literally all I do, other than talking to like LSU sources. It is 24/7. I'm on everything. And they all told me today that they thought Kyron struggled. And I put a lot of feelers out there. A lot of people were impressed by Chris Hilton and Garrett today. Lots. And good on them. I'm glad for that. All right. I do see this one in here. I want to bring that back. Great seeing Patrick Peterson's entrance into television, announcing and commenting on Firebomb today. I did not see that. Good for Pat Pete. Good for Pat Pete. We do have some breaking news as I'm being told in my ear. So it would appear LSU right-hander Gavin Guidry will not be available on Thursday to pitch against Mississippi State. Because it never fails. I'm going to screenshot this and post it on Twitter every single night. Every single night. I had at least 2 comments about Gavin Guidry in the live shows. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't think the dude will pitch this year. I'm staying out of it. I would be shocked. I would be shocked. I don't know. That one's wild for me. And even if Gavin Guidry did come back, he's not ready. You're not going to toss him into SEC like that. He's going to get a couple midweek tune-up games. And I don't – a lot of people forget how bad Gavin Guidry did last season. Because anyway, let's get to it. So – LSU will be wrapping up spring football within moderately about 2 weeks here. There's not a lot of practices left that we have to go out there and we get to view. You guys will get to see the spring practice, not the spring scrimmage like we used to do. And Brian Kelly announced last week that LSU will be doing 2 practices after the spring practice that gets televised to let guys go on a spring break, come back. Let's do the spring televised practice in Tiger Stadium. We'll do a couple more. So we got like 4 or 5 more times that we'll be able to see him. Well, we did have like 14. We're well more than halfway through here. There are 5 things that I want to get to here tonight with you on some things that I need to see. We've talked a lot about this, but I want to be a lot more specific because I think the last couple of weeks we've been talking in generalities. We've talked about individual players here and there, but I want to get to specific details because – guys, the interesting thing here is, and I never think it's too early to talk about an opponent that you would have in week 1. But I still have the Clemson game on my mind about things that I am seeing out there in spring practice. I told you last night, and I still vehemently believe this. I am not a part of the belief that spring practices don't matter. I've never been a part of that. I think that's where a lot of development comes to. I think that anybody that tells you that it is not a massive part of what you do as a team is kidding you, fooling you, or doesn't see the importance of the reps that are being taken. There are 5 things that we need to get to here that I need to continue to see and want to see coming out of spring. Things I want to see more before we get out of it, because if we don't get to see it, then you wait until August, and hopefully you get those answers there when you have a finalized team and roster. Number 1, I need to see you still continue to be very good. I'm not going to say the word that I wanted to say there. Very good at corner and very good at edge. Guys, coming into the spring, edge was a position that I felt very good about. Before spring even started, it was 100% a position that I felt, even coming into that, before ever seeing a snap of Patrick Payton in the LSU uniform, Jack Pyburn, Gabe Rutherford. I didn't know Gabe Rutherford was going to come out and do what he did this spring at all. I thought it would be Jamari Butler, if I'm being blunt. I certainly love that Gabe Rutherford has definitely made a step this spring. They have been exceptional. But the position group that probably shouldn't have surprised me, but did surprise me, was corner. And the overall talent that you have there. I think they've been the most competitive unit, one of the most competitive units on the entire team. Guys, you have what probably will be one of the best corners that you have as a freshman in the entire country, if not the best. And DJ Pickett, who's running with the second team. And it does get reps with the first team. And that dude is going against guys that you would consider starters. We've seen him stay stride with Chris Hilton. We've seen him run stride for stride with Barry and Brown. We've seen him in situations with Xavion Thomas, a slot guy, or Aaron Anderson, a slot guy that is really good, fast, quick, shifty, and really good route runners. And he's done very well. Same with Mansour Delane. Same with Jakeem Jackson. Those guys have been really good. I hope it continues to stay that way, because it would give me a lot of faith and a lot of trust looking down the road for Clemson. Guys, Clemson wide receiving core is absolutely disgusting. Antonio Williams, their number 1 wide receiver who returns, was if I'm not mistaken, was a freshman last year. Returns. Had 11 touchdowns a season ago. Well, Blake, what did he do against Texas? He caught a touchdown against Texas. He got double teamed the entire time. They put 2 guys on him. He still got a touchdown off of it. TJ Moore, Brian Wesco. This secondary is going to be tested on week 1. I'm glad coming out of spring that one good talking point that we could talk about is, look, man, the secondary at corner has been moderately really good. I want to see that continue, especially at edge as well. Number 2, this is probably the thing, and I have not addressed it, but the thing that bothers me the most. So we talked about some really good things in number 1. So the negative nature of who Blake Ruffino is. Oh, Blake's too negative. We just spent 5.5 minutes talking about something very positive. Number 2, Joe Sloan met with the media yesterday, and he was asked about the running game. He goes, well, we're still trying to figure out what works for us in the running game. What are you doing to figure that out? Why don't you go in a massive team period 11 versus 11, or continue to just do run game stuff? Now, you did that in the red zone, and it didn't work for you. You couldn't get in the end zone. You got in the end zone once on 8 tries. Not good. Not good at all. What are all the reps that you're taking now? Are you spending the entire practice saying, hey, listen, we're going to run the football. We're going to find what works. We're going to find and develop. Guys, on these, they've done more 2-minute drill stuff in the last week. They've gotten to team situational periods. They've put pressure on. I want to see a team period where you're lining up and trying to find a run game, because that's all that matters, really. You know, if Garrett has a moderately good running game, how much does that help him? I think it drastically helps him. It takes so much pressure off of his shoulders to feel like that he's got to be elite every game for you to have a chance to win. Guys, for what it's worth, I need to see more out of this running game, and I hope that LSU gets to a place where going into the end part of spring that they find ways to just – it's all that they're working on. Because if LSU in a team period, 11 on 11, all they did was, hey, man, we're going to run the ball on you. Defense knows it. Who gives a shit? They don't know what play you're running. They know they're running the ball. They don't know what play you're running. Find what works for you. You have not found that. Now, Xavier Thomas has found something, and why we have not had the conversation about putting zero in the backfield when every time he touches the ball out of the backfield, because he makes plays. If I'm Brian Kelly, I'm having a serious conversation with number 0. Hey, man, I'm dead. I am dead ass serious about that one. It needs to happen. You haven't found you have not overcome or gotten better with your biggest weakness. That is a truth. Hope they can find it. I know he said he's still working on it. Working on what? You're not even going into team periods and showing me that you're working on it. Not really. Not really. Number 3, there are some players I want to be running with the ones. I need to see Josh Thompson with his first team this spring. I don't want to see Paul Mabenga anymore. I don't want to see Cohen Eccles anymore. I don't want to see those guards in there. Either put Carius Kern, Solomon Thomas, or Josh Thompson in a guard. I'm tired of seeing it. I am tired of seeing it. Brian Kelly did tell Wilson Alexander that Chester's moving over to guard. Good. Put Brethren Moore at center. Put Josh Thompson at right guard. Put Chester at left guard. Tyree Adams at left tackle. Weston Davis at right tackle. Why are we wasting reps? Guys, literally ripping the Band-Aid off of these players. Like, I feel as if that LSU, for what it's worth, like Xavier Thomas is at receiver running with the ones the entire practice. Are you doing that and saying that he's a starter mainly due to the fact that you don't want him going into the portal just in case? So you don't want to get Barry and Brown, who's another person that needs to be running with the ones. That when you get into August, that he's not going to be running with the ones relatively quickly. Like, you don't want Paul Mabenga and Cohen Eccles to hit the portal. So you put Josh Thompson at right tackle and you say run with the second team until the portal closes. Now, you would probably think, well, that's probably smart to do that. So because you don't want those guys to hit the portal. But there's also a massive part of this of that you need your offensive line, your starting offensive line, to get reps with one another and cohesiveness, because 4 of them are brand new. 4 of them are brand new. Josh Thompson, Sadir Mitchell, Barry and Brown, Deshaun Spears. Those are the 4 players that are not constantly running with the ones that need to be there. They have to be there. Guys, these reps are limited. In today's day and age, in today's world, in today's sport, they are limited. Fire off with what you think is going to be there. And if somebody gets beat out, by all means, let them get beat out. If, God forbid, Xavier Thomas beats out Barry and Brown and you were trying to force Barry and Brown into that situation, good. We're playing politics because we don't want kids to go to the portal. And I understand that. That you don't want to play politics. And you're trying to limit the numbers of kids that potentially could go in the portal. I get that. But, man, you got to start getting these reps with guys that you project are going to be your starters. Kevin Peoples didn't play that shit. Hey, man, you know what? We bringing in some edge guys. Guys, y'all going to compete. Oh, hey, Gabe Rutherford, you told Jamari Butler and Patrick Payton and Jack Pyburn to hold on a minute. Good. We ain't sitting here meddling around. Mansour Delane comes in at corner. They don't waste a day putting him with the ones. Good. Wish they would let you do that at DT, though. Those 4 players have got to see more playing time with the ones. And Blake, is just spring. It's just spring. Needs to happen. I don't want to hear anything during the season of Barry Brown and Garrett Nussmeier missing one another on the fade route and timing's off when you could have been practicing during spring. Guys, I will scream this until I'm blue in the face. Championships are not won in August. They're won in January, February, and March. National titles are won in January, February, and March. By the time that you get into August, by the time you get into an offseason of just lifting when spring football's not here, that means nothing. Because when you get in there in August, yeah, a couple of days, sure, you're going through some drills, you're getting back into the swing of things, whatever. Guys, it's only a couple weeks, and you're game planning for an actual game. A game-like scenario and a game-like situation. You don't have time to waste around and get the timing and connection down with your receivers. That's got to come January, February, March, April, May, June, July, so that when August gets here, you're off and running. It's exactly what Burrow and Chase and Jefferson did. It's exactly what Daniels, Neighbors, and Thomas did. Blake, why are you always referring to them? Because it fucking worked. And every elite quarterback and every elite offense and every elite defense, whether it be Warren Sapp and the boys with the Bucks, with Brooks, whoever it is, whatever sport it is, but especially in football, championships are won in January, February, March. So I don't want to hear it. Play portal politics if you got to. Let's stop denying the inevitable. All right, here's something positive here. Actually, I kind of put 3 and 4 together. So we'll just end it with 4 here. Continue to compete. For what it's worth, the biggest positive, in my humble opinion, that has come out of spring so far is everybody is compete. Let me say this. In certain positions, you're competing at a very high level to take things over. Most of that is coming defensively, corner, safety, linebacker, edge. It has been an open competition to everybody. Everybody's getting a shot here. I would love to see it more offensively. Keep going out there and competing. Keep getting those reps. Keep doing things at an elite level. If you train at an elite level, you will win at an elite level. That's just the truth. All right. Hakeem Batiste says, where is Juwan Johnson's best position? I think it's star. I think it's safety. How does he get on the field? Safety. Kid is too good of an athlete not to have an opportunity. He said, I told you this before Sloan ever went to the press conference, that he wanted to play quarterback and they allowed him to. It wasn't a depth issue. He was going to do it with or without Colin Hurley. Hopefully, Alex Atkins says Spectrum Will Care will help this run game. I would not. Guys, think about this for just a minute. And I said this. I want to reiterate this part right here. Brian Kelly had to get involved in play calling in the running game during the Florida week. Remember that? He's on the sidelines holding a play sheet. He's vehemently involved in everything going on in the running game. You knew that, and I knew that. It's why it got better. And even Sloan admitted it in his press conference that it got better at the end of the season. Well, it got better at the end of the season because Brian Kelly was helping you call plays. That's why it got better. I'm not letting Joe call run plays. I would not allow it. Because your head coach had to take over for it last year. Why would I go into a season, and I've said this, and I should reiterate this. I'm not going to go into the season saying that, hey, you had to do it for him last year. You brought in Alex Atkins as a run game coordinator, and you don't want him to be heavily involved in the running game. Why? Why? Shit. Xavion is built like a running back, says Carvis. It's his best position, too. It's his best position, too. Dr. John Sibley Butler says, I want to see Nuss shine and pure speed on kickoff and punt returns. Well, you're going to get that. You got the SEC leader in kickoff returns. Unexpected TDs because of pure speed at wide receiver, making plays, scoring defense, and 3 and 4 of plays to flag. D, slow LSU. You got that at the end of the year. It's what won you the last 2 games, really. So, yeah. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, man. Post game, LSU versus Mississippi State. Y'all have a good night. Peace.